Welcome to jazztime.com. Today we're going to be reviewing the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Double Balance Wheel Openworked Skeleton 41mm reference 15407OR.OO.1220OR.01. We're going to go through some pricing, the bracelet, the dial, the movement, and let you know where you can purchase this at jazztime.com for the lowest price anywhere online. So let's jump right in. As of 2016, the watch retails for $76,800 US, and you can buy it at jazztime.com for $76,700. The watch was released in 2016. It's limited, only the boutiques get them, meaning not all your AP authorized dealers have them, just the boutique stores have them. They're very limited quantity, so hence it's a very desirable piece. This is actually one of my personal favorite ones, so I'm proud to present this to you. Now let's go ahead and start with the most obvious and most coveted part of this watch, which is the dial. The dial, as you can see, is skeletonized, meaning you can see right through it and you can see the inner workings of it. It actually uses the same movement as the other Royal Oaks, except it's been heavily modified. It still uses a caliber 3132, but of course with a lot of modifications in it. So talking about the dial, we're going to have to talk about the movement since you can see right through it. Now there are 245 parts to this caliber 3132. It has 38 jewels and a total diameter of the movement of 26.59 millimeters. And it looks pretty darn cool. It also has a power reserve of 45 hours. And I might mention the reason they call it an Openworked double balance wheel skeleton is because, do you see where my thumb is pointing? That's the first balance wheel. And do you see where my thumb is pointing now at the 2 o'clock position? That's the second balance wheel. And the reason they have two balance wheels here is because it allows for the watch to be that much more accurate. In fact, Audemars Piguet claims that it makes it a lot more accurate, and I believe them. So let's move on to the bezel. The bezel is going to use the famous octagonal shaped bezel with white gold screws that are polished. So you have a brushed finish on the bezel and a polished screws. And what you'll notice about these screws, if you look closely, is that the screws are actually octagonal. So have you ever wondered how you get an octagonal screw in here? You can't just turn it. Well, in fact, you get it from the back. Do you see how the back has circular screws? You screw it in from the back, and this whole plate, this whole piece comes off. Okay? And one of the good things or awesome things about AP is you'll notice on this bezel, when I'm turning it, you'll have a high polish on the outside of the bezel, brushed right where my thumb is pointing, and then you'll have again high polished screws. I mean, the polish on AP's, Audemars Piguet's, is really amazing. Now let's move on to the bracelet. The bracelet itself is also very amazing. And you'll notice here that it has, of course, it's made of 18 karat rose gold, or as they call it, pink gold. Now, here's what I'd like to draw your attention to. AP does such a great job polishing that you'll notice here, you'll have at the edges, you'll have a high polish where my thumb is going back and forth. And then where my thumb is going back and forth here, it's actually brush polish. And it's kind of hard for you guys to see this, but if you look really carefully, right where my thumb is pointing, in between, that's high polish. And in between the lugs is high polish. I mean, looking at it up close, it's really quite amazing. Now let's move on to the buckle. The buckle is using a deployment style, double deployment. So you simply press here in the center and it pops right open. Now I'm going to bring your attention to this part of the buckle, in that it has the hallmarks for gold. Can you guys see those hallmarks at the edges? They're really quite small. Okay, now let's take a look at the hallmarks on the case back now. Now, as I told you, the movement's probably the most special thing about this watch. And you can see from this video, take a look at that movement. Now, it still uses the 3132, but it's just heavily modified. And you'll notice up at the top, you're probably wondering what those things are. Those are actually hallmarks, gold hallmarks. Okay, so just to recap, this watch is limited as of 2016, was produced. They used to make a 39mm version of this. Now they make a 41mm version of it. That's the case size from my thumb to my index finger, 41. And I might add as well that the height or the width of this is 9mm. It's much thinner since it's part of the Royal Oak collection, not the offshore collection, and therefore it sits much better on the wrist. And this watch retails for $76,800. You can buy it at jazztime.com for $76,700. You might be wondering, why should you buy it at JazzTime when it's almost the same price at the authorized dealer? And that's because this watch is absolutely limited. Nobody has it. JazzTime does have it, and it's brand new. It's exactly the same as getting it from the authorized dealer. So check us out at jazztime.com. If you like this video, press the subscribe button below, or check us out at jazztime.com, where we offer a free warranty, free shipping, and a low price guarantee. We can't wait to see you at jazztime.com.